pleasure to welcome you all here at the Startup Grind discussion. And today we're hosting, as you all well may see, a very charismatic Algirdas. Let's set the scene and please tell us about what is TeleSoftas now. So maybe in terms of what you do in the sense of mission, maybe services, employees, and define your company, please.
All right, so TeleSoftas is a Lithuanian innovation service provider. So what actually TeleSoftas do? We are a location for engineers, for IT developers. And we actually want to be the best developers in the world. And actually we're now number 50 in the whole Central Europe. We have about 200 engineers at the moment. And we don't own any products, we don't own any solutions. What we do, we just do programming and developing. So, actually for people who are working in TeleSoftas, the company is actually a location to become better professionals, better people, find the best teams, create something innovative, help other businesses to find themselves, to change their business models. And for our customers, TeleSoftas is actually a go-to place if you want to innovate your business. It doesn't even need to be like a purely IT. Like if you are a shop and you want to do something differently, something totally not the way you used to do it before. You come to TeleSoftas and we actually have consultants, we have programmers, and we create a solution for you that will be owned by you and that will be a part of your business, and you will achieve much greater results than, than before. So our customers are, actually they have a big range. Like we're working with startup companies, we're creating them cool new software. We are working with industry giants like AT&T, Verizon, you name it. Actually, yeah, since 15 years now. We're working since 2003, and we had more than 350 projects completed.
So that's some impressive story.
Yeah.
How did it all start?
Oh, it started as well very naturally, I would say. I was a student, actually. I was studying in Kaunas Technology University. And my brother was studying as well. He was studying in Aalborg University in Denmark. And then he called me and he said, Algirdas, would you like to come over to Denmark to have some parties? There is some interesting companies. Maybe they like some programmers like you. There will be like a career fair. And actually I came over to Denmark and I started to work as intern in a Danish company called Human. Human at this time was a company that was a traffic monitoring provider for the whole Copenhagen city. And Human had a vision to actually, it was 2003, and actually they had a vision. Why don't we have a car navigation system in a mobile phone, in a smartphone? And actually I was super passionate about smartphone. Actually they looked really cool gadgets, and you can find a lot of girlfriends if you have a cool gadgets. And you have a lot of friends, and I love to have a lot of friends. So obviously I was doing programming for the smartphones. And yeah, I loved it, and I said, okay, let's do it. And I started to work on a project called Live Pilot. It was the first ever navigation system on mobile phone, on Symbian, on Nokia 9900 communicator. So yeah, and later on, it was just an internship. I had to come back to Lithuania to continue my studies in Kaunas. And they said me like, Algirdas, why don't you work for us remotely? You've done a good job. And I said, okay, but I need some legal entity for that. So I just went to notarius and say, I want to open a company. And I opened TeleSoftas. So that's how it started. Obviously, like then, my friends, all the people who were around me, my classmates, my buddies from dormitory, everybody, they said, oh, Algirdas, you have a cool job, maybe we can do the same. And I say, why don't you come over and work for me in TeleSoftas? And this is how it started, in the dormitory.
So actually, you started the company already having the first client.
Yeah.
Who was the second? And how did you get it?
Yeah, actually, it was like a very like a usual story you hear now in startup communities, because very soon, after a couple of years, this company, Human, they got sold to Navtech, and actually they say, okay, now we do everything on our own, we don't need any outsourcing anymore, and kind of we'll be left without a job, and we were not charging a lot of money. We were working, I think, for 400 liters per per day or something, so we didn't have much money left, and we just went to first expo in London. It was Symbian Smartphone Show, they called it. And we've been a young company from Lithuania. We bought some tickets. We actually spent our last money to that, and we had like a banners and saying like, we do developing for Symbian cheaply. And nobody was buying. Actually, it was a whole day we've been saying like, 110 euros per day. We're very good, we're very good. And yeah, and we couldn't explain much what we've been doing because Symbian still was a new system. Nobody even got what we are doing. And then we met one Englishman. He was like a little bit pity of us. He said, like, guys, you need some drink. And this is how we met our friend, Mark O'Shea. And he actually got a company in Zurich, and he was a pioneer in on-device portals. Actually, at the 2005, it was a very good idea of his to actually sell ringtones, games, and wallpapers on the smartphone. It was a super great idea at that time. So that's how we started our work with on-device portals with the company Surf Kitchen, and later my brother joined this company, and everybody started to work, and we grew to like 20 people, and we've been doing content portals for all the mobile operators around the world. Like we made a Yamba portal for German market. Everybody remember Yamba? The one with the crazy frosh, the axle. Oh, so that was our portal. It was hugely successful, and basically this is how we got first time to work with operators. So we started with O2 Germany, then we went to Orange UK, Orange Poland, and even some operators in Bangkok, I guess.
So have you had some business in Lithuania? I mean, do you serve clients here? Because what I hear is it's really, from the start, you've been very international. Okay, so now I want to just step back a little and talk about all this craziness. So, how did it came through in your life? I mean, how did you how did you think of becoming a programmer? What's your life experience behind this crazy drive that you have?
Well, I would call it just like a passionate drive. Like it's not always crazy. It's when you look back at it after some time, it totally makes sense. So it might be bold, I would say,
Okay.
not crazy. So yeah, how I started, of course, I got introduced to IT through computer games. I used to play StarCraft, Brood Wars as a professional in Lithuania in 1997, 1998, 1999. I had blonde hair with spikes. My nickname was Dentist Sadist. So, yeah, and I kind of like computer games. And I went even before, in 1993, I went to some gaming parlor, and I've been playing Warcraft, Warcraft 1, and I really liked it, and it was cool, and looked something totally new. Really, I wanted to explore more, and this is how I started. So, of course, after that, people who like computer games, they like to set up their own computers. This is how I started to buy computer parts. Then I needed to configure, of course, everybody who putting together their own computers, they like to overclock it a little bit. And for that, you need to go and do some configuration in the BIOS, and then you will find out that you can also need a boot launcher, and for boot launcher you need some scripting, and this is how I start. So I started with MS-DOS and with bat scripts on Windows. That was my first command lines that I wrote. Yeah, and then I saw this opportunity in Kaunas University. They had this good courses, and I had a very good grade after school in computer science. And I said, why not? I go for computer science. And this is how I joined. And I joined university. I met a lot of people, a lot of new friends. Everybody had interests. Everybody were really passionate about programming, and objective programming was super popular, C++, and this is how I got into it. Of course, I never finished KTU.
Yet another proud dropout. Yes.
Yes. Yeah, but basically, yeah, through computer games, setting up the computers, and slowly, gradually.
Mm-hmm. So I hear one of the qualities that brought you here is having a lot of passion for what you do, and staying curious. What else would can you define anything that was, that made influence up to today?
Well, I have this 4 guiding principles that even in TeleSoftas on the web page. I want to do something new, something innovative, something that nobody have done, or very few people in the world have done. I want my work to be actually meaningful, so actually there would be somebody in the world who will need that. And I want to do it as best as possible as a professional. And while I'm doing it, I want to have fun. So I'm just guiding through this, through every activity I do. And probably this is how I grew up to the present stage.
It really sounds very nice and very attractive, but I'm sure during these 15 years, you had also not only the ups, but also the downs. And how did you keep up with these really nice and attractive values and during the hard times? You know, so what made you go through?
I don't know. What can I say? Nicholas, what kind of hard times you're talking about? I never had any hard times in my life.
Yeah, okay. So the time when your only client said they're not hiring you anymore, you don't have any money.
Yeah, but I looked at it, okay, like, okay, now we just, actually, I never thought about it as a big issue, like, what I was sure that I will still do what I like, I'll still do something cool, and I was hoping that it would be needed to everybody. So actually, what really helped, of course, there was a lot of struggle. After that, like when this on-device portals, they also blew up after iPhone and Google marketplaces appeared. So we got like 60 people in one day without a job. So we had to find new projects. But I never looked at it as a big deal. I just trusted, and okay, now we need to find some new clients. And so I looked at it more as an opportunity that was given by my life, by the some events that happened, and I never thought this is the end. I never panicked. Of course, it's like I had some, like I was worrying, like, but still, like I had some. So I think out of 4, I'm still doing innovative. Okay, nobody needs it in the world, but still I'm doing it professionally, and still I'm having good time. So it's only one element that is missing. Let's find that one more element. And yeah, so just took it as a challenge, and I love challenges, so.
It seems you have no problem of reinventing your own business. Do you have any process on how to look for opportunities? Like when these in-device portals blew up, how did you find the next thing to work on?
Actually, it's very interesting. I had only recently had a chance to structure up how I wasn't able to answer this question last year. But however, when I analyze, like whenever we do something, whenever we are working with somebody, like I'm always accepting those people I'm working with into my heart. So and it's also not only the employees of TeleSoftas, that would be the clients of TeleSoftas. So with every year when we are working, we are growing the network of friends. So basically, every single year, the network of friends grew up. Like we found some friends in London, and we got a deal. Then Apple and Google came, and then we had next week, my friends are calling. We hear that you have some development teams that are available. We're gonna hire them. So basically, what was good that we as a company were doing is that we were empowering and taking people into our into our family. So even our customers thought that, okay, my brother needs some help. So we kept growing this feeling of comradeship, of feeling of family. And yeah, it might seem from the that I was like a super lucky, like TeleSoftas is a super lucky company, but actually not. TeleSoftas is a super friendly company, and this is why we're getting the deals, and this is actually our sales strategy now. Mm-hmm.
So you've mentioned luck, and it's a very interesting concept, talking with successful people, I like to ask this question. So, what part of your success is luck, and what part of it is work, hard work, smart work, maybe any other part? So, how would you decompose your success?
Yeah, like as Master Yoda is saying, there is no luck. It's only your actions that is influencing the force. So actually, yeah, it is a hard work. It is time, your effort, your heart that you put in to everything that you do, to all your employees, all your customers, all your friends. And actually being friendly pays off. So this is how, like, be honest, be really, really focused, and be passionate, and really dedicated to the people that surround you. And that's it. That's and then the magic happens. Yeah.
Okay, so I think we can leave this personal touch. Thank you for it. It was very, very interesting. Now let's talk more about your business, about how you've seen what's coming up, what technologies are coming up. How do you see your industry and the moves there?
Well. Our company, TeleSoftas, is traditionally in the telecom industry. Telecom industry is again now on a verge of switching to new technology. Like in 2020, we're going to have new devices, we're going to have 5G. It is coming. Maybe somebody is saying that it is still not here yet, but inevitably 5G is going to come, and whenever that happens, we will suddenly get super high bandwidth available to all people. And that would mean that everything that we imagine now, everything with like a super high resolution, super content demanding applications like holographic point cloud streaming, or like a 360 viewing, or this holoportation from Microsoft, it will become available, and it will be possible to use it on our devices. And whoever will maybe invest into like rich content and massively used rich content is now a future. So actually this is why we are investing a lot into virtual reality, augmented reality applications, so as well like 360 cameras and streaming of 360 content from various locations. And many operators around the world and many businesses are now investing into this like a new service. So I think in 3 years, like value-adding services, rich content value-adding services are going to be back. Like in 2005, we had the Crazy Frosh as a value-adding service. I think in 3 years, we're going to have again something crazy, something, I don't know, it would be useful, maybe, hopefully.
But when you say rich content, so what exactly do you mean?
I mean rich content, data-rich content that would be like really heavy. I mean like maybe like gigabytes of streaming, something that is requiring a lot of bandwidth.
Can you name some practical examples of that?
Well, our partner, Sneakybox, had a very good demo with a French company. It's called 5G Champions. So what did they do during present Pyeongchang Olympics? Nokia have deployed 360 streaming cameras all across Pyeongchang into the stadiums, into the various like venues, into the exhibitions, and they made a virtual reality viewing application. So basically, You come into virtual reality, you invite your friend, and you sit in the virtual cinema theater, and you can switch between ice hockey, and you can visit ice hockey stadium and watch it from all the angles. Then you switch to like skiing, and you can go along and go 360 around ski jumpers. And you do this with all your friends who are like maybe they are in totally another country. Maybe they are with you together, and you can have like maybe virtual drink or something, virtual fist bump, send likes, maybe do some entertainment.
Can you have a physical drink in a virtual reality?
Actually, now we have a lot of companies, tech companies that are developing like tags, and also cameras are really strong. So in TeleSoftas we are doing like a physical attachment of the with a QR code of the objects that basically, if it's a Vive, it has a camera, it reads the QR code, and then it shows the 3D model overlay of that real object. So yes, it's possible. And now there is a lot of like trackers as well, like you can attach tracker to the ball, to the iPad, and absolutely yes.
Some amazing
Mixed
stuff
reality.
coming up, and
Yeah.
it's very soon in the pipeline.
Yeah, we call it mixed reality. There is already a term for it, and there is like a futurist, Robert Scoble. He has a very big Facebook channel with all these new technologies. If you're interested, you can check. So it is already a reality.
I also read about one of your products about the inner child. So you have a therapeutical product in virtual reality. Can you elaborate on that? How did that came along?
Well, it kind of came along. How did it came along? Actually, we have our own research and development team, and research and development team, they have been doing just like anything that they like. And one of our developers, he really liked basketball, and he was very disappointed of this basketball player Yevtokas with a shark, because he is throwing rebounds during the trainings. He's throwing the 2 points very precisely, and during the game, actual game, he's always missing. And he got a big disappointment on him, so he decided maybe we can create a virtual stadium of Žalgiris Stadium, and so he can learn about it. And then at the same time we had a visit from a doctor of psychiatry, Audronė Miškinytė. She is working now in Bergen University. And she said, oh yeah, that's actually a method of psychotherapy that we're using. And then we said, okay, why not to make some product for that? And this is how it all started. And then we applied for European funding. And then we tried many phobia treatments, like spider treatments, like fear of public speaking, many applications. So we've done a lot of prototypes, a lot of demos. And then Audronė suggested a method for like a very special new technique. It's a not new technique, it's old technique, but it was never tried in virtual reality. So it's called the transactional analysis. Actually, the idea is of the Bernoulli theory is like every single one of us have an inner child, inner adult, and inner parent. And we can see us as child. We can even sometimes talk to our child. Maybe we got some phobias when we were little kids, and we even have this. So we need, they do this transactional analysis, and you can imagine yourself as a kid. So we thought, hey, why not to use a virtual reality? Why not to project your inner child in front of you? And we just made this little demo for this Mobile World Congress. So you are immersed into virtual reality. You are meeting your own self as a little boy or girl, and or some like a child. And then you go to experience some things that you're really afraid of, like super tall building with all the winds and also like a very, very shaky bridge. And you go there together with your inner child, and inner child is encouraging you to come over your fear and step forward on the bridge.
I must say, this is probably one of the best applications of virtual reality that I've come through. I'm really impressed. I knew the Bernie's theory since for ages, but such an application is really wow. Maybe you can share some of your impressions from the Mobile World Congress. What's coming up apart from 5G?
Oh my God, so many. Like just a couple of weeks ago, like TeleSoftas is going every year. We're going to this big show called Mobile World Congress. It's actually the biggest show where all the new handsets are going, and handies, smartphones are being introduced for the first time. So Samsung Galaxy S9s and Huawei, LG, HTC, all presenting the new latest toys and gadgets during that show. It is happening already for many years, for 11 years, so every year we are going there. This year we also went, and yeah, and I see like the industry is going super crazy. For example, for the first time I've seen a special smartphone for gamers. It actually has coolers inside. How cool is that? It's actually, you take a phone and it was like with a super sound of coolers, and it has like a super like aggressive look as like a predator. So it's a big device, very heavy, and it's for gamers. And you can, if you're a hardcore gamer, you can now have a gamer smartphone.
Can you call?
Yeah, you can call, you can do, it will a little bit distract you. You'll have like a little sound, but it's still good. And I remember everybody were laughing exactly like that when they introduced laptops for gamers. But now look, everybody has laptops for gamers, so who knows? We're gonna have even more powerful devices. I really liked like advances of like VR and new gadgets. Like HTC, they presented 4K resolution wireless VR AR headset. So it's super cool. Like you have this very, very high quality graphic, and it's all wireless, so you can walk around, run around. It feels like you are in some kind of matrix or something. So yeah, and of course everything is about now, it's big trends for Internet of Things. All the like car manufacturers now presenting their new connected cars, and AIs now is a super as well big trend. AI for marketing, AI for smart cities, AI for everything. As you know, mobile operators, they have a huge amount of data, depersonalized data about every location. So they know where is the Facebook is used mostly, what kind of video is viewed in what location. Maybe now if I can check Telia's log output, I will see that this one is a super Celine Dion lover location. So operators have huge amounts of data, depersonalized data, and they just need to do something with that. So every single like tech provider for telecoms, and we're presenting like AI solutions, like how to improve our security, for example, how to, in the case of emergency, switch off, or maybe to show, instead of Celine Dion, show some information of biohazard. So it was really plenty of this, and yeah, all the usual stuff, I would say.
Okay, so some projections into the future. What do you think, what's the technology that's going to die soon that we're using? Because, you know, everything comes and goes. So who's first in line to go away?
Who's first in line to go away? Okay. What would it be? From everyday technology? I would say everything that is based on like I think the technologies like cashier automats to do like cash dispensers will certainly go away, and all the things that they use in shops for like scanning, like credit cards, everything that is definitely going away. Maybe in some places already went away. And for every day, like I don't know, for me, probably fridge is going to go away.
How?
Because I'm going to order everything on the mobile app, and I will not need to have any product.
Like just-in-time delivery of a glass of milk coming out with a drone through your kitchen window?
Exactly. Everything is now, there's delivery systems are now getting so advanced, and I think everything that is requiring like some kind of storage, some kind of like in advance, like I see in 10 years, like maybe even today, we can say, okay, we don't live by the future, we live the present. And this is coming more and more real. So we're not going to live a present day, we're going to live present hour, maybe present second. So yeah, I think this one definitely going to go, and people just love to live present day. You don't need to think about future, about nothing, just live like that.
And be happy.
And be happy, exactly. So that's what everybody like. And if people like it, it's gonna happen.
Okay, so just I have some final question for you, wrapping up our discussion, and I want to ask the audience to prepare the questions. I'm sure they have plenty from your story, but I will ask you, so what are the main lessons you've learned during these 15 years of TeleSoftas?
Well, the biggest lesson I learned is actually not to be afraid. Actually, there was a lot of opportunities that I didn't took, that I hesitated, and then I had regret about it, that damn, I hesitated, it didn't happen. So I learned that it's better to like take an opportunity, fail, and then say, okay, I took an opportunity and I failed, than to not take an opportunity and then regret, oh my God, I didn't. So just try it, and do not afraid to trust yourself in the first place, and to trust your friends, to trust your team.
Anything else?
Anything else? Of course, like I learned a lot of many programming languages. I learned about like that sometimes things are happening when they are happening, and sometimes it's bad to rush stuff and to do it forcibly. It's really, really good to do things natural way. So.
But I see it working on this thing is also on my mind, because I see it working more, you know, on a personal level. But when you take on a company level, so how do you set goals? You know, because if you set the goal and it doesn't come in its own way, how do you deal with that?
Yeah, often goals are changing, and you should just accept that you will may set like an annual goal, annual KPI, and you know that you will not achieve, and you just have to accept that at least maybe 60% of your KPI. If you achieve it, that's good. So do not try to achieve 100% of your goal. Then you think about it, okay, it was kinda as I imagined. That was good, and I'm happy about it. And yeah, I think it's like called the objective key result or something like this one, and it's really working. So yeah, goals are changing, life is changing, everything, technologies are changing, and to push yourself and then blame yourself that you haven't achieved something, it's totally worthless.
But then, I'm thinking about these goals, you know. So maybe it's, you know, a worthless activity setting goals, because really life is not linear, and you never know what comes up next, you know, and what opportunity you may have and pick up and just fly off with it. So maybe we need some other managerial tools apart from goals.
You can actually just rephrase it. Do not call them goals. Call them dreams, visions, some desires. And then it's much better like that. I have a dream, I have a desire, I want something like that. And then it's much better than a goal with a super like a measurable, and it's better to have dreams and desires than goals.
Is that your managerial practice in TeleSoftas?
Yeah, actually this is what I do. Like I just go and I just
And you just project your dreams?
I just spew like dreams and visions to everybody, and that's my job.
And then people accept and help you work towards it?
Yeah, some people accept, some people would not accept one, but maybe accept another one, and
okay, so you just need a lot of people, a lot of dreams, and they will just self-organize around them. Is that?
Yeah, it looks like that. It looks like that.
We used to call it spaghetti organization. You throw spaghetti on a wall and see what sticks. So it's I hear some resemblance.
We call it like thermonuclear sun radiation organization.
Okay, that's I would say very interesting practices, and gladly it works. Your success shows that it works, and who could have thought that
Who could have thought?
yeah, such things at the end do work out. So if audience has questions, now is the time to ask them. Yes, please.
Tell us more, please, about your team. How old are they in general, and from which country? Do you have only Lithuanians, or you have international team?
Well, I call all TeleSoftas my team, and yeah, we have like recently we had 4 people from actually one guy from Belgium, one guy from Rotterdam, one guy from Hanover, one guy from Stockholm. Also we have, I own 65% of TeleSoftas, and the rest of 35% is owned by Norwegian guys, Lars and Matthias, very cool guys. And then we have a department in Switzerland. It's working on the name Click-On GmbH. And it has like French people, like 2 French guys. Then there is a Nicole, and she's German, and actually it's pretty international. And of course in Kaunas and here in Vilnius, we have mostly Lithuanians. So I think now we have about 20 foreign maybe employees, 20 non-Lithuanian in the organization, I would say, yeah, out of 200.
Median age?
A median age is, actually we started in the dormitory, so it's kind of, we were all same age, in the 30s, actually what's happening is really amazing, as TeleSoftas is really a desired destination for young people. So our middle age is going down, we're getting younger. Our company is getting younger with every year, because now I started it when I was 21 years old, and now new 21 years old are joining. Actually, one of our developers, his son is 18 in June, and he is coming to work in August. So we have now first generational employees now coming. So, yeah, it's getting a little bit younger now. Maybe about 28 now. It's 29. It's average.
Yeah, please.
Mr. Algirdas, thank you for your interesting speech. I am a lawyer, and I am developing one web page where people can, they may go to the web page and receive consultations and legal documents on the issue as employment law is concerned. But I see from the popularity of it, I see that people are still kind of afraid to not see the lawyer in front of them and tell him their story, and then to have those documents prepared. So how do you see the future of maybe someone inventing a virtual reality law firm, for example? How do you see that?
Good idea. Let's make it. I like it.
Because nobody has done it.
Yeah.
Ever.
We already have an SDK for for video streaming. So if you want, we can put an SDK for video streaming. We just got one in Mobile World Congress, Barcelona. And it's a really nice SDK. You can have, if you have a lawyer or if you're a plumber, you can have immediate video link with your customer, and you can actually even move stuff around, draw together, and so I think that is going to be the first iteration. And then when VR devices, I think by 2020, in one way or the other, every house will have their own VR gadget. And I think by 2020, you can do like a Steam plugin and just have like a chat room with your people, maybe super private one. Maybe they can choose an avatar of a bunny if they are afraid to show the face to you. And you will be meeting with a bunny, and bunny would say, oh, I was cheated. Yeah. Another question.
I have two questions. First, you already mentioned that you have some SDKs. It means that you have products that and services that could be used by others. And I want to know which kind of products you have. And second, while you say that you don't put goals like this, and you mentioned desire or something like that, and something not measurable, we know that measuring is necessary for every project, and budget management, I don't know, time management. How do you schedule to deliver orders to the customers?
Well, for that we have a lot of project management techniques now. For example, Agile Scrum. Like you have a process of developing a product, and then you involve everybody together, and then you work as a team. You assign like product owners, you assign the development team, and the development team would create something that they would bid and the time frame, and they would say, okay, we will implement this amount of, we think we're gonna make it in 2 weeks. And then in next 2 weeks, they're gonna make a demo, and you're gonna decide as a product owner, okay, that demo worked out, and or not. And then next sprint, next 2 weeks, you just say, okay, last 2 weeks you overestimated. Maybe you should take a little bit smaller goals. And yeah, usually like this kind of, according to development process, you can then measure just hours spent, and hours spent is your budget, because time is money, and you just multiply amount of hours by amount of euros, and per hour, so that's it.
So it's measurable.
So it is measurable on the level of the delivery, on the level of work, on the level of product development.
Operations.
How about the products you have now? SDKs.
Well, actually, it's a very good question, because like this SDK I've mentioned, like we sometimes have, we do not make them ourselves, but we sometimes go to exhibition and we just meet some good person in a party, and he say, oh, look, I have this SDK. Why don't you want to resell it to some of your customers? And we say, of course, because you're a nice guy, we love you. And so yes, so we just have a network of partners who have, of course, voice recognition, text-to-speech, speech-to-text, image recognition, face recognition, song recognition, car recognition. Like so much. Actually, what kind of SDK you like? I can find you. Yeah, I think I could. I don't have a full list. I just have like a Jira, and I can find it in a Jira according to the function.
Okay, there was a question here. No?
How do you compete with similar companies from countries like Romania or Ukraine?
Yeah, actually, what is a unique selling point of TeleSoftas? Of course, it is a perhaps our know-how, and that we have recommendations, and we have probably portfolio. We have Ferrari on our portfolio. We have BBC. We have Smithsonian Museum in Washington, Discovery Channel, like big telecoms, and then maybe the way how we position as some. I see it many times, like the first time you approach somebody, for example, in the expo, and you say, I'm an outsourcing company, they would immediately say, okay, how much developers you have, how much they cost, and basically you skip that step of actually finding out the problem of that person. So our approach is actually not to offer any developers, not to offer any rate tables, but to first find out the problem of the customer. What are they lacking? Are they scaling now? What kind of business challenge they have today? And then say, okay, I have a guy for you. Like some telecom operator would come to me and would say, okay, I have a lot of data, and I need to improve my performance of my network because we have a lot of technologies. We have bought so many routers and so many equipment from Huawei, Ericsson. And I say, okay, I know exactly the guy for you. And I just... So we are like a matchmaking first, then developing later. Yeah?
About your cryptocurrency and TeleSoftas product, maybe you have some takes on it, or maybe you see that's gonna be worthwhile?
We still, yeah, it was a good idea. I always like wanted to release Algis coin or something like a Telecoin. We're still thinking about it. I think we're still doing like, we're just trying, like we've built our own rigs we're now building. We ordered a lot of graphic cards, and we're also experimenting with stock exchange for cryptocurrencies, and we now have several games with in-game currencies. Maybe we'll release something like according to that game, a cryptocurrency. So Still nothing solid, still nothing, we're still thinking about it. So cannot announce now.
Any more questions? No. So let's all give a nice round of applause to Algirdas.